Hey, Bastish B here for 64K and welcome to the first episode of Modern Vintage. So what is Modern Vintage? Well, this is actually a spin-off show of my other show, New Retro. This one's a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same. I'm going to be looking at modern games on modern systems, but only games in a vintage retro style. So what's the reason for making this show? Well, it's simple. I don't have as much time as I used to play these massive 100-hour games. Like, I would love to play Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, but I can't. I just don't have the time. But I do have the time to play arcade games. And I mean downloadable digital arcade games in their modern form. And the games that I'm obviously drawn to are retro-inspired games, because those are the things I love. So this is a way for me to still play some modern games and showcase some really cool retro-inspired ones. So the format is still going to be very much the same as New Retro. We're going to check out the inspiration game and the modern retro-inspired game. So let's check out today's titles. Okay, so let's first have a look at the original arcade inspiration. Paperboy was released in the arcades in 1985 by Atari and was straight out of the gate a smash hit. Atari's arcade division, unlike their home stuff, was in its golden phase at this point, and the classic Gauntlet was also released in 1985. Paperboy's gameplay was simple. Survive a week delivering papers to all the area subscribers and try not to die in these super deadly 80s neighborhoods. You have to survive for 1 week. With every missed delivery, they unsubscribe. Surviving a full week sends you on to the next difficulty level. If you survive each day, you also get a bonus BMX track race sequence. This game was what every good arcade game should be. A quarter muncher. You just had to try it again and again and again. The game ran on Atari's System 2 board, which they had just released that year, and was able to produce a much higher resolution graphics back then, as seen in the other game, 720 Degrees, which also ran on that board. The game also featured tons of digitized speech samples, something that was not so common back then, although the Atari arcade games at the time, like Temple of Doom and Gauntlet, would be jam-packed with the stuff, grabbing your attention in the arcades completely from across the room. In 1986 saw the start of Paperboy's home computer and console ports. About 25 different ports of this game currently exist as of making this video. Eventually in 1991 the game received its official sequel on all home consoles at the time, skipping the arcades completely. Unfortunately, it was met with mediocre reviews and is an often forgotten port of the Paperboy legacy. The original game though was a massive influence on many levels, as we will see in the next example. Now let's look at the modern retro game that was inspired by Paperboy. Video Kid 80's Edition is a 2018 release by Pixel Trip Studios for the Xbox One, PC and Switch. The game, more than any I've covered before, wears its inspiration proud and is not subtle about it. It's Paperboy on a skateboard. The story goes you want to meet up with your girlfriend for a date. She's at the end of the street. You just gotta make it there. All the while delivering bootleg VHS tapes to your seedy customers and avoiding even more death than Paperboy's murder street neighborhoods. The biggest difference though is that you only get one laugh, and that's what makes this game so addictive. That one more try attitude kicks in very quickly, and before you know it, you wasted 2 hours dying a million times. As you can probably see, your character looks a lot like Marty McFly from Back to the Future, and this game is more jammed up with 80s movie references than your average Kevin Smith movie. In fact, the reason that you die so much in this game is mostly because of all these awesome distractions. Doctor Who, Transformers, Care Bears, Inspector Gadget, and a million more. What I also like is that there's a bit of a randomized element to the game as well. Pieces of the street are set in stone, but others are not, so every try is just a little bit different. There's also the skate or die styled shop where you can buy new 80s characters or costumes, plus new skateboard tricks, which is a fun distraction. You can buy them with coins you pick up on your route. There are no microtransactions. You gotta earn the goods old style. Overall though, the graphics are really cool in their big pixel look, and the ragdoll death animations are just hilarious, as is the tons of speech samples all over the place doing some sort of riff on 80s movie quotes and the Paperboy arcade at the same time. The game is short and fun. Getting to the end is gonna take a lot of practice, and it's a really fun game to throw on for 15 minutes here or there between things, and I highly recommend checking this modern retro game out. Okay, so you want to find out where you can get these games? As of making this, Video Kid 80's Edition is available on digital download. You can get it on your Xbox One, your PC, or your Switch. As for the original arcade version of Paperboy, you can pick it up on this PS1 collection called the Atari Collection 2. You can also get it on Midway Arcade Treasures. It's a compilation collection that was out on the original PS2, the original Xbox, and the GameCube. And that's it for the first episode of Modern Vintage. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm your host, Bastish B at 64K. If you could like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll see you next time. Cheers.